If you're an undocumented student ally, if you're a Dream Center director, if you're somebody that wants to advocate for entrepreneurship for your undocumented students, in this video, I'm going to be sharing a total of 9 different ways that you can support undocumented students with all the work that we've currently done up to this point. All right, if you're new here, hi, my name is Juan Maya Hernandez. I'm the founder of Undocu Startup, and we are the leading entrepreneurship program for undocumented students. We helped over 180 undocumented students through entrepreneurship programming. So if you're interested, I'll be sharing some details down below.
Welcome to Undocu Startup by Juan Maya Hernandez.
The first way that you can actually support undocumented students is by hosting pitch competitions. These are simple to do. They don't take a lot of funding, and you could actually start this with even just $100, $1,000, depending on how much funding you can give to undocumented students. We've hosted pitch competitions with over 9 institutions already. So what we've learned is that usually some of these students actually build their own businesses. They use some of the funding that they win to legalize their business, to buy equipment, and that's always a big positive. All right, so start with pitch competitions. Helps them break out of their comfort zone, helps them get into that competitive mindset, and it helps them get some feedback for their business. Now, the next way is to host fireside chats with undocu entrepreneurs. So now, personally, when I was a student at UCLA, I was part of different entrepreneurship programs. And one of the things that I really found valuable was having access and connections to entrepreneurs that have been there, done that, right? I got connected to founders that had made $500,000. I had connections to founders that got into accelerator programs that raised $2 million for their business, right? So similarly, one of the things that I started incorporated into the Undocu Startup bootcamps and the programs that we have is sometimes we collaborate with other Undocu entrepreneurs. Some of them are just starting out. They just made their first $10,000. Some of them are in the millions, right? But we bring them and we host a fireside chat, right? So for the first 30 minutes, we have them, we ask them questions. I moderate the questions. I ask them questions about their experience. I ask them questions about how they grew their business, how they got their business idea, work-life balance. What does that look like? How do you figure out your pricing? And then I give 30 minutes to the students to be able to ask questions on their own, right? So we find this extremely valuable because after working with over 180 undocumented students, the biggest highlight is that they are able to connect with people that don't have DACA. They're able to connect with people that come from the similar experience. So one of the things that is difficult for you to believe that you can be in certain careers if you're undocumented, because this has happened to me, is sometimes you don't see representation from your community in the environments that you want to be in, right? So how do you fix that? Bring in entrepreneurs that have businesses, have them answer questions for the students. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can literally just be 30, 40 minutes. And we find that students find this extremely valuable. Way number 3 is to provide seed funding. Okay, provide seed funding. So what is seed funding? Provide them like little scholarships, $300 to $500 and startup grants. These are mini grants that can help students buy supplies. It can help students legalize your business. Like we had a student named Sergio, one of our programs. He won first place in the pitch competition. He won $325. And then he was able to implement that into building his website. And I'll actually link it down below. And this is sort of like a really simple success story. All right, the next one is one of the most important ones. And these are collaborate with legal and business experts, right? So by legal, I mean somebody that can help them set up their business, get their EIN, set up their LLC, maybe find a company that can do that or a nonprofit that can do that. But also one of the most important things after they start making money is taxes. In terms of your business taxes, it's not the same as if you're looking for help just for your personal taxes, right? I always recommend that people look at enrolled agents from the IRS, look at tax professionals that are IRS certified, because in case anything happens with their Social Security or their ITIN number, if they're IRS certified, they can actually contact the IRS and resolve it much faster. Now, similar to how there's workshops on renewing your DACA, similar to how there's Know Your Rights workshops, why don't you do a Know Your Rights as a business owner? Why don't you collaborate or do some form of office hours with people that can help them set up their companies, help them get their EIN, help them understand what business structure, right? And there's a lot of resources, but let me know if you need more resources. All right, number 5 is build an entrepreneurship club or bring in entrepreneurship events to your undocumented student club, right? So why don't you launch an Undocu Entrepreneur Club on campus, right? Not only would this support students that want to go into entrepreneurship within the undocumented community, but you can also use some of the funds that you get to create a club to provide seed funding. You could also bring in experts. You can also bring in fireside chats of other entrepreneurs. You could also host little pitch competitions. I know that the undocumented student clubs in California, as I went to UCLA, there was different conferences that happened. But why don't you create something specifically for entrepreneurship, right? Because entrepreneurship could literally be side hustling. Entrepreneurship could literally be building a product, building something in tech, worker cooperative, independent contracting. And I think if you're able to funnel all those resources into a club, it would dramatically would have helped me when I was a student, and it could help out more students in the future. Sixth way to support undocumented student entrepreneurs is to share success stories. All right. I believe University of Utah's Dream Center does an amazing job. I believe they call it the UndocuThrive series. And here they share success stories of entrepreneurs within the community that have DACA or are formerly undocumented or are undocumented. They're comfortable with sharing. And this just allows students to view somebody that has been in their shoes make it. I know that when I didn't have DACA, and even now that I have DACA, I don't see a lot of my community and entrepreneurship. Everything that I see has been around fear. Everything that I've seen has been around, there's all these things happening. But why don't we also funnel a lot of that fear into positivity, into success stories, right? Like, show me somebody that has raised some money within the undocumented community. And I can think of a few use cases. Show me somebody that actually went through my program and developed a business, right? And I think that is what really helps people change their mindset, right? Having that exposure to success stories is extremely important. These success stories could be this person won pitch competition first prize and this is what they did, or this person raised money, or this person launched their first product, this person got their first 10 clients. As those success stories that we are missing within the community. And I think that if we continue sharing those, we can develop more of that mindset of becoming an entrepreneur, right? And you could check out a few of them, and I'm gonna link them down below that we've already done, so feel free to share those as well. The seventh way that you can support undocumented student entrepreneurs is to host a public entrepreneur market. I forgot the name of the specific community college that has done this in the past, but they do this showcase events where they have a little market, right? Kind of like a farmer's market, but undocumented students are able to showcase their businesses, able to showcase their products. And I think this is a brilliant idea, right? Why don't you do a pop-up market? I believe UC Irvine also has something similar. But encourage students to bring their business ideas, encourage students to attend those public markets and start marketing their business, because the only way that they're going to actually get clients, the only way that they're going to get out of their comfort zone is by being in these events and allowing them to get their first clients, maybe investing into them, right? So this one's important, right? So set up a small market of student entrepreneurs that attend your college, host it in your center, and have students showcase their businesses. I don't know, maybe once a quarter, maybe once a year, and then invite the community to come and buy from them, right? And that's a way that they can get clients. That's a way for them to get marketing exposure, and it would dramatically increase their confidence in building their business. The eighth way, and this is a really great idea. I've had all the funding in the world. This is what I would create: an entrepreneurship fellowship that happens year round, either state by state, or on the CSU level, on the UC level, on the private college level, on the community college level, but an entrepreneurship fellowship that gives students funding. I know I was a part of one. It was called the Future Founders Entrepreneurship Fellowship, and it was a total of 8 weeks, I believe. It would include a lot of different workshops with different speakers. It would include metrics to track. It would include connections to potential mentors. It would include feedback from your own pitches. And I think, if I had $100,000, $200,000 to be able to invest into some of these students, I would create something like that, where it fits within professional development for undocumented students. But again, it's fully focused on entrepreneurship. So imagine you could have somebody that focuses on getting funding for undocumented founders, right? That's 1 week. The next week could be, how do you build your business idea? The next week could be, how do you set your prices? The next one could be all these other things. And I think that if you build something like that, you're investing into students, you're giving them exposure. Obviously, you have to make it exclusive, because even though I believe entrepreneurship should be accessible, I don't believe that everybody can become an entrepreneur, and I would never ever push anybody. But for the students that are interested in this, I think this would be extremely helpful for them, and it would give them a lot of resources. I still use the resources that I was given in my fellowship when I was a student to this day, but that is the last one. Now, the last and bonus one that I would leave you with is to partner with us. Okay, if you're looking for entrepreneurship resources and you may not be the expert, we're the experts here. Now, we've already helped over 180 plus undocumented students across 9 different campuses, build their own business ideas, get their first client, and pitch publicly. If you're ready to bring entrepreneurship programs to your campus, just visit www.undocustartup.com and book a free meeting call with us. I'd be happy to hear about what are your current challenges, how can we fix that, and hopefully we can work together. Now, that concludes the end of today's video. If you found this video helpful, please go ahead and share this with somebody that needs to hear this. And remember, be motivated and stay motivated, baby. I'll talk to you soon.
Welcome to Undock a Startup by Juan Maya Hernandez.